must work 70 hours per week. It's a recent statement given to us by one of the co-founders of Infosys, Narayana Murthy. Youth must work 70 hours per week. It's a recent statement given to us by one of the co-founders of Infosys, Narayana Murthy. Since then, there is a lot of debate and discussion on this particular statement. Well, Murthy stressed that Indian youths have adopted not very good habits from the West. And he has asked that we need to learn to be more disciplined and determined towards work and development of growth for our country. Now, what is the sociological perspective on this? Well, if we analyze from conflict perspective, which is largely given to us by Karl Marx, increasing working hours will only help and contribute to the growth of capitalist corporate leaders who are actually owning the means of production. And this working hours, increased working hours, will further exploit workers. But here is a catch, that in sociology, we do have different perspectives. Now, Karl Marx analysis is being criticized by many sociologists. For instance, Emile Durkheim, who have played tremendous role in making sociology as a distinct discipline, argues that there is no conflict in society. There is no conflict in economical system. So even if we are increasing the working hours, there will be a division of labor, right? And then you will get the benefits and the perks as per your contribution. Because for Emile Durkheim, the growth and development of any aspects, any institutions of society can only happen if we consider ourselves as an important part for the maintaining of system as a whole. In other words, it's not only capitalists, it is also workers who are contributing and playing significant role in the growth of any system. So when workers are going to increase their time, working hours, they will help for the system to maintain its stability, and they are going to get the privileges and the benefits of that contribution. Now, we do have a third perspective in sociology, which is given to us by Max Weber. And what Max Weber have said is very much similar to Murthy's statement. Weber's thesis on Protestant ethics and spirit of capitalism is giving a clear illustration that why, by having good habits, can bring a system like capitalism. So Weber have argued that the reason for capitalism to flourish in 18th-19th century was because of the hard work, the discipline, which was maintained and implemented by Protestants. So your religious values, as per Weber, is responsible for you to perform certain actions which is rational, and then you have created such a massive institution like capitalism. What Weber is saying? Weber is saying exactly what Murthy is saying. Murthy have stressed on the fact that we need to create a habit. This is what Max Weber have said, that Protestants have these religious values, basically coming from John Calvinist. He urged to his followers that you can get salvation only if you are hardworking. If you are hardworking and living an aesthetic life, simple life, not spending too much, not getting into the shackles of commodification on consumerism, and investing your money on further investments, like on further business. If that values are there with you, as per Weber, then you can concentrate a lot of wealth in your life. And if you have a lot of wealth, that means you are that predestined, chosen one who are going to get salvation. So here I like to compare and contrast with Murthy's statement. I believe that Murthy is pretty right, that if we can have habits, good habits, and he did mention that you have taken some of the bad habits from West, and we need to focus on discipline, on determination, right? That can bring productivity. Productivity not only for the capitalists but for individuals too. However, I believe that one of those statements which is not very well explained or talked about, that Murthy did talk about removing corruption. Now, when we are removing corruption, we do have to understand that what Indian philosophy is talking on this. In my knowledge, what actually Narayana Murthy failed to explain, that Indians have to go back to their philosophies, Indian philosophies. What Indian philosophy talks about? Indian philosophy says to have control over your desires, to increase and have rationality in your life. Indian philosophy talk about rina, debt. Indian philosophy talk about dharma, that you have certain responsibilities towards your members in society. Indian philosophy also talk about artha, how you are earning the money. So if the corporate leaders and the government can maintain their hold over Indian philosophy, they will not do the corruption. In this scenario, if the workers are putting 70 hours of long working hours, definitely it will increase the production. Increased production will give surplus value. That surplus value have to be distributed among the workers too. Let's take an example, that if I'm working in a company for 8 to 9 hours shift, and if I've started working for the 12 hours shift, and I'm contributing to the growth of the company, now it's a company responsibility too to give me that increased value. It means that I am being honest. This is what Indian philosophy says. You need to be rightful, how you are earning the money. And the artha, that you need to have a check on your desires. You don't please buy iPhones. You don't please spend too much of your earning to the things which is not part of your life, which is not part of your culture. So youth are earning and then spending in nightclubs. So youth are earning and then spending too much on things which they do not require. So what is wrong, Murthy have said? I believe that he didn't actually emphasize on the relevance of Indian philosophy. Indian philosophy did talk about debt, rina philosophy, that you are responsible, you have to pay debt. And how you pay debt? By being righteous, by being virtuous. We are from the land where Surya Namaskar is our tradition. India is a multi-ethnic country, multi-religious country. In our religion, all the religions talks about to wake up early in the morning. Why the youth are not able to wake up before 10 or 11? I know lot many youths who say that it's a problematic for them to study in the early time. Why? Because in the night we are talking, chatting, we are on the social media. Imagine that if we can bring our country and if we can bring back our Indian traditions, where I'm not talking about with context of any religion, I'm talking about Vedic religion. So if Indians are waking up at 4 a.m. and doing Surya Namaskar or offering namaz, and then they are mindful what they are eating, what they are practicing. Are they practicing yoga? Because yoga is one of our philosophy. Nyaya. Have proper perception. Vashishka. Do logical inferences. Yoga. Right? Vedanta. What this philosophy are talking about? These philosophies are actually helping us to become more productive. Right? So I like to bring my discussion end here that Murthy statement is not at all wrong. Yes, we do have to bring structural changes to implement that. We do have to remove all the ills and corruptions from micro settings to macro settings. We do have to take our responsibilities. And if we can bring religious values into our lives, the way Max Weber have proved in his thesis, the reason of capitalism to flourish is because those Protestants were having their values. So definitely, if we Indians, I am talking about Indians, I'm not talking about any particular community. Indians means all. Indian Muslims, Indian Sikhs, Indian Dalits, everyone. And just can bring that secular traditions, the values of our culture, if we can imbibe it, definitely it's not that problematic. Imagine that we wake up at the 4 a.m. and then by 6 or by 7, we are there in our offices, wheresoever, and we are working for the longer hours. But yes, definitely we have to bring societal structural changes. Nowadays, we know that females have not many responsibilities. We do have now a double responsibilities. We are working in the office, we are working after work shift as well. So when we are bringing minute awareness in all the aspects, in all the parts of our society, then definitely it can further bring longer and macro developments in our country. So I think by 70 hours of working, what Murthy have meant that if he could achieve this much of wealth, name, it is only because of his hard work. And probably because he is saying that the discipline is something which can actually help him to be working for us. He has said that point. Nevertheless, he has mentioned that we have to remove corruption. That corruption has to remove from all the aspects, from individual to macro level, from individual to societal level. Even the workers have to think that when they are working, they are also giving the taxes to the nation. So it means increased wages can help us to give more taxes. So it's everything interconnected. This is a sociological perspective. To analyze one statement from different perspectives, I did discuss what conflict perspective says. Definitely, there can be a chance if we have the same problem which Karl Marx have said. Karl Marx said that capitalism is not a problem. The problem is human greed. So if capitalists or the corporate leaders can come out of this human greed and can very systematically and with lot of balanced approach can distribute the wealth, it's not a problem. But yes, we have to see that are we ready for that changes? Are we ready to give equal pay to males and females? Are we ready to provide all the structural changes where female can feel free to work for the long hours? Right? We have to bring minute changes to have macro changes. So this is what conflict perspective it will say. Functionalist Emile Durkheim, who is saying that we do have to understand that if I am contributing more, I will get the privileges. And what Weber have said, I relate it with Murthy's statement. So this is my analysis on Murthy's statement of 70 hours per week. Thank you.